The
Yeah.
basic principles of anything you want to achieve. Like again, if you want to build a house, you got to go and find a plot of land. You'll go and get it designed. You then got to get some foundations. And if you put in the foundations and they're strong foundations, they'll hold up all the bricks. And oh, look, it's how any structure is built,
Mm.
whether that's the structure of, you know, people, I want to get rich. I'll tell you what, if you want to get rich, work out how much money you actually need to live on, to survive on. And I mean, genuinely, how much you need to survive on. Not subscriptions to anything. If I don't have it, will I die? Right? If the answer to that is no, if I don't have that, I'll be fine. Right? Because you don't need it. You don't need it. Then get a second job or do as much overtime as you can. Put every penny of that for the next 10 years, every spare penny you've got that you don't need to live on for 10 years in the bank, sorry, in some dividend pie, in some investment portfolio,
On two, on two.
and see, yeah, yeah, but see
Shout
where
out
you
there
are
to
in
two,
10
on two.
years. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So from that, you can see what you and I have been speaking about recently, right? But you do that for 10 years. If you and I think of every meal we've ever had that actually turns out I didn't need it, every drink I've ever had that I didn't need, every fucking book I've never even read that I didn't write, every single penny of those was put into some dividend pie at the simplest level, just with let's see what the average returns are for 10 years, and you knuckle down, got a spare job, did overtime when you whatever it is, and you're probably in no time at all finding a way to put £1,000 a month into a dividend pie. And if
Mm.
you don't touch it for 10 years, that's 120 grand plus your
Mm.
dividends. All right, you're probably going to feel quite rich.
Yeah.
But you know, the law of manifesting is I can just sit here, visualize that, and it'll happen. I do believe in the events of synchronicity, but I do believe there's a reason for that. And that
So I'm going to
well,
caveat some of that is so people can do these things, but we say about these things without understanding that life gets in the way. So most people will have a family, a husband, a wife, children, relatives, whatever else, jobs, all those other things that your car breaks down, you get a flat tire, suddenly you can't rent your house anymore because you've been evicted, or suddenly you can't afford your mortgage anymore because the payments have gone up. So it kind of it comes in the way of that original idea is well that money I don't need. So because suddenly you need to use that money for those other things that have come up that you didn't expect to come up in the way that they have or at the time that they have.
and
And
I
that
have so the synchronicity one is I think like this because you had already had podcasts. I do a podcast. There's you could argue that because you were a guest on my podcast, that's how we met.
Yep.
We were introduced by Caroline, right?
Yep.
So the synchronicity is I asked Caroline, does she know anybody who might want to? And the synchronicity was that you were a personal trainer and you wanted to talk about health and wellness. So, right. But that could be argued that down the line, well, the synchronicity is because we now do a podcast, right?
Yeah.
And
So if you want
that,
to believe on them lines, that energy, that vibration, that frequency kind of married up eventually to end us up here. So I get the
yes.
premise. I 100%
And,
get the
and, and
premise
then,
behind it. I just don't
but,
accept it.
there's also the synchronicity of, well, it turned out, I went down to the local yachting club or the gym or something, got chatting to a bloke, and turns out he needed something that I did. Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely right. It's probably how I met 50% of my coaching clients and hypnosis clients. They needed
Mm.
a service, turned out I could provide it. So there, you can argue there is a synchronicity, but the synchronicity sometimes is just you're talking about something, and out of the 100 people that week that you've spoken to, you meet somebody that can help you or that wants your service. And the other thing is, like you were saying, with the you could lose a job, you could lose this, you could lose that. You get a flat tire, you could end up evicted or whatever. It's well, I never manifested that. Well, because yeah, but you allowed your thoughts to get in the way, etc., etc. You didn't truly believe it. I think where it gets exposed, and this sounds like I'm defending it, I'm not, is 99% of people who do the law of attraction, do the manifesting, are doing something that you mentioned at the beginning. They're in a bad place, and it helps you get out of that mental state. So you're not really, if you break it down, are you really trying to like manifest something? Like I've said to you before that my theory with the lottery is most people don't want to win the lottery for the sum of money. They want to win it for the security it represents. If I win the lottery, I will never get evicted. I will never lose a
Yeah, and
house.
this
I
is a
will
lot of
never need to
the
work.
kind of talk
I will be
around law of
safe.
attraction. It's you want. It's not. You're not after what it is that you say you're after. You're after what that will, what that kind of represents.
Yeah,
Rather, yeah,
yeah. Do you know what I mean? So you say, I want money. I want to be wealthy. What is it you're afraid of? Well, actually, I'm struggling to make ends meet. I want to be able to have my own house. I don't see a way to do it. But if I turn and say to you, well, like seriously, which is the better sales pitch, right? And to give me a chance to finish. I want you to go and get a second job. I want you to go through your bank account and look at every penny. And if that didn't feed you or keep the lights on, you cancel that. And then do overtime in the evenings as well. And put all of that for the next 10 years in a dividend pie account. So work your nuts off for 10 years and go without everything, right? Is that glamorous? And does that sound like something that appeals to you? Or if you just spend 7 minutes a day listening to the sound of my voice, I'll bring you into a lovely, relaxed state that gets you energetically focused for the morning ahead. And then do this again at lunchtime. It's only 7 minutes. So it's only 14 minutes out of a 24-hour day. And in the afternoon, we're going to do it again, and you're going to be focused and you're going to resonate. And as that resonance, as you practice it and keep practicing, it's a 50-day trial, and you keep practicing for 50 days, I guarantee you will notice results for 14 minutes a day. Fuck me,
yeah,
that's nothing. I can do that. And if you didn't, I will be able to say, did you twice a day for 50 days, minimum 50 days? And did you hold that attention? Did you hold that focus? Did you feel the vibration resonating across out of the earth into the quantum planes to bring your resonance, your vibration to match that frequency of what you want? Did you visualize it strong enough? Because that's a much better fucking. You've recorded this as well, so we're selling that, right? Right? It is. It's a. But that's a much better sell.
yeah, yeah. It is, but
You
it's
know.
not honest.
No, no,
It's
100%, one hundred
it's
percent.
not honest and it's not factual. It's
You,
it's
you and
it's
I
just
both
another
know.
ideology. It's an
But what?
ideology. That's it.
But you and I both know. I just said that unscripted off the top of my head
Yeah, yeah,
because it's the same thing everybody says.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
It's the grift.
But part of me, I do believe in the Henry Ford principle of whether you believe you can or you can't. You're probably right.
See, I get the principle, but I don't necessarily agree with it because there's so many variables as to what an outcome could be and what an individual is capable of. I could never, for instance, be a world-class swimmer, no matter
No,
how
no, no. I
hard I
agree.
try. And let me tell you, when I was a kid, that's what what I wanted to do. And whilst I swam pretty well and I won gold medals in plenty of competitions, etc., um, I no matter what happened, even if I'd have stayed on that path and not joined the army, well, I joined the army hoping I could stay on that path, but that proved to be a bit of a lie anyway. So that was something that I did working in that direction that actually was complete lie, BS. It was to get me to sign the dotted line, as it were. Um, but even if so, even if that hadn't happened, I don't have the genetics to be that good.
Not with that
So
attitude.
I
No.
can be good,